participants here, and there's a question that has been bothering me, and it's actually connected to his speech about doing business. I know that civil society has been working at this for so long, in fact, almost to the point that right now as we are sitting here wondering what's the point, because we got the Constitution and yet look where we are. And then I'm sitting here, and a lot of the work we do is supported by donors. And we know that since closing of the democratic space for both media and civil society, somehow we know how donors have recorded. And a lot of the work that have been arranged or planned by a lot of the people sitting here are either completely dead or half the time is always half measured. A job, support is given today and after 6 months, it's not done. And yet the problem has been with us since before independence. And I'm just wondering to myself, how can we deal or address the issue of donors? Because it would appear to me, and sorry to say that, it would appear to me that the donor support is actually a front to the real business that's going on. So it's still a transactional approach in terms of what is it that we as donors come in to show the public, the citizens that this is what we are trying to do for you. But what is the support that the same donors are giving government? Because I think the support they are giving civil society, and yet they have such a huge job, is a drop in the ocean. And somehow, whenever there's a problem, actually most of our donors just run away, leave us on our own. How do we deal with that? Because we are having a very honest conversation here. I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes.
Thank you. Then the panel can maybe respond to some of the comments. In 2 minutes to respond, then closing remarks. Because lunch is getting cold.
Thank you very much. I really want to thank Midrift and the Danish and every other participant who have facilitated this meeting. I would have said that when I began. But I think the question of leadership must be linked to the question of followership. I come from Gatundu, Kiganjo. The president comes from the same place. I've never voted for him. Because if he cannot run even a family company, why should he run the country? So, the question of leadership and followership must be compared. Because I've seen people who follow Agwambo. And Agwambo cannot even run a company. I've seen people follow Kiraitu. He can't even run a company. Why should we give him a governor office? So for me, the interrogation of leadership is a question for me which I began very honestly in 2001 in University of Islam. I was requested by a professor in the University of Nairobi to go and teach leadership and globalization in the 21st century. I am still arguing that, as I argued way back when I was very young, that leadership is not a question of being broad or being great. Archbishop Alexander Olesentit put it too clearly to me by borrowing from some scholar, I can't remember the name, that leadership is an opportunity for people to rise up and lead. So the panel, as it discusses this issue, I want them to interrogate that leadership is not taught, it's not born. It's a question who raised it. I like my dear sister, Emma, has said something very special, that we need to actually decolonize the concept of leadership, as well as my mentality, that's an English word, Regina, that we need to agree as a people that it doesn't matter. People may throw stones at the donors and the grant maker, but it's us who write the proposals, who respond to the call. So what do we want to do moving forward? Kehane has a very good spirit. That's all I would follow.
Thank you. The panel can respond to any of the questions. And if the question maybe or comment was directly pointed towards your direction, in 2 minutes, then the closing remarks, then we can invite Mheshimiwa here to give his closing remarks. Who is going to start?
So maybe I'll just answer some of them that were directed to me. In terms of leadership skill training, I think I agree with Tom. Leadership, there's no skills you can give somebody. I think there's already a historical trajectory of leaders, and you know them in your community, in your village. You know that person who has risen up when there's a crisis. You know, situational leadership. You know them. You know the person who you left, even, you know these chamas of women, and she disappeared with your money. You know these things. You know that, you know all these people who are not good leaders, and you know people who have risen up and done the right thing. And I keep saying, I'm a fan of Ben Kihanya. You know, he found the matatu sector in Nakuru in a mess, and he decided, you know what, whether or not I have a degree, I'm going to get myself dirty. And he became the chairman of the SACCO. Now it's one of the best managed SACCOs in Nakuru County. So that's situational leadership. And so I don't think you can give anybody skills to be a leader. Leaders is, you know, and also what values do we have? The question of followers. I don't believe in corruption. I don't believe in all those things. And so I'll not vote for people like Ruto and Uhuru, you know, because of what, you know, I've seen about them. And so our own values need to reflect the people we elect. So we teach our children all these nice values, but on the day of the voting, you go and vote somebody who is totally different from everything you believed in. How? So we also need to start walking the talk and living this talk. So training of police, let's train the software. I still don't understand why police check how many teeth you have. Why do you do that? to become police, you're checked whether you have all the teeth. Why?
So that you can eat.
Eat one, yeah. Yeah, so that you can eat kitu kidogo nicely. But we need to change, I think, software. I know, of course, the police has changed. There's a lot of training, you know, on even human rights. But when do the police start living it? And not if just the police. For me, when do we become a human rights state? So that it's not just the police, all of us actually are human rights activists, everybody. So that us activists are not seen as that group of people, you know? So till we become a human rights state, the police, ordinary citizens, that's when we will say we've gotten there. And I think I like your point about the Kenyan state is a cash cow. Yeah, even me, the day I want to leave my measly university salary, I may go and be nice. I'll go to Zach to advise me how to get into the state. Because that's where you get money. And it's really, really sad. Because the whole, and I think it's very colonial from day one. But it became, I think, such an issue after Moi left. With Kibaki's government, it's become worse with Uhuru. If you want to make money, join the state. So whether it's the police, that's why people will bribe to be policemen because it's a cash cow. You know, your life is good. You know, I'll bribe, do anything, campaign with 15 million a year minimum for even a small position like MP, because I know after that there are very high returns on investment. So joining the Kenyan state is like investing in a blue chip company. Yeah, it's like investing in EABL. Because you're sure the rate of return on investment is so high, but Zach will probably tell us better. But so for me, we need to change. Anyway, I think we can talk till tomorrow. But thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. I just want to add a little more on what she has said. That should leaders go to leadership classes? The automatic answer would be yes. But when you have dealt with Kenyan leaders, can you really send MPs to any class? If there were the group that were here this morning, how many would still be here by now? It's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. I think we need to direct our efforts more towards the followership Mr. Kagwe has talked about. that that is why it is critical. Because whom do we really choose? And why do we choose them? He said he has come to the conclusion that leadership is business. It is quite obvious in this country. Which families are in politics in this country? How long have they been investing in it? And they have a strategy into the long future. Now, for how long shall we continue to be fooled as ordinary citizens? I think there was an American diplomat here who told us that choices are what? Yes. The leaders we have, it was our decision. And it's only us who can reverse those decisions. So as far as I'm concerned, I think as civil society, you need to go back to the grassroots. We are complaining, elections are coming in another 2 years, we shall make the same mistakes. How do we justify, for example, having Sonko as the governor of Nairobi? How will we justify having Waititu, governor of Kiambu? Have we really run out of choices? But we have made those decisions, and we have seen the consequences. As for the donors, I don't think donors come here for philanthropy. They come here to pursue certain state interests. When the Chinese do this, the SGR, they are securing their future. We are going to pay these loans in another 30, 50 years. The population that will be there will benefit from that. What about the Kenyan population that will be there? They'll be paying back the debt. So we need just be quite aware that any international states or any countries don't come to Kenya just to be good to Kenya. They are pursuing their own international relations. They see the benefits into the future. That is the harsh reality. So, if you talk about training leaders, yes, we can. But if you go to Parliament and told members of Parliament, come to Kenya School of Government for training, they'll say we shall be subordinating ourselves to the executive, and we don't want to be a part of the executive. And that's our problem. So, as far as I'm concerned, the critical decisions are made during selection time. And that is when we should go back to the people and talk to them.
Well, I thought he deserved a better clap, but I guess people are hungry. One of my mentors once told me that leadership is problem solving. It's as simple as that. And he told me, Regina, you cannot just stand far and look at the problem, diagnose it, complain about it, throw stones about it, and hope that the problem will sort itself out. If you want to be a leader, whether you're called, pushed by your followership, etc., you have to roll up your sleeves, dive in the mud, and deal with the problem. That is when you can call yourself a leader. So we have a challenge of people who leaders who've never solved problems, are not interested in solving problems, will never be able to solve problems, will never be interested in solving problems. But we have leaders who solve problems every day. So when you asked whether we have leaders in the slum areas, whether we have leaders in those things, I can list them off the top of my head. In 2017, when things were looking rocky and violence was happening, even in the most violent areas where we saw violence happening, there were people who came in and stepped in. So nobody talks about the role that people like Octopizzo played in Kibera. Nobody talks about the role that people like Giuliani plays in Dandora every day, not just during times of crisis. These are people who are solving their community's problems every day, and they use the skills and the resources that they have, whether it is their music, their art, their foundations, the safe spaces they create for conversations, and the influence, which you so rightly pointed out, that they can then speak to the Bob Collymores to then, impact on their communities. So these are the leaders. So I really do agree that we need to redefine what leadership is. It's not being elected, it's not sitting in a big air-conditioned office or driving a Prado. It is solving the problems that affect people every day. Whether it is food, whether it is the matatu industry, whatever it is, whether it is violence, when you're solving that problem, then you should consider yourself a leader and you should do it to the best of your abilities with the resources that are available. Domi, I feel your frustrations on whether there is hope because we have been doing this for so long and we feel like there's no change. But I think sometimes we also have to stop and remind ourselves that there is change. There are things happening, they are small, but if you put them together, it can be big. But we also have to remember this is a long journey and be committed to a long journey. And we might not all complete the journey, so we might have to hand over the baton, which is why it's important that if we're talking about the next generation, they should be here starting to think about next steps. It shouldn't be me. I'm not an old timer because I'm following Akina Tom. I'm sort of hanging on their coattails, but one leg is hanging on to the younger lot. So that is it. One of the surveys we did in 2015 when we were starting this work on national values was to see whether Kenyans actually understood what national values are as the Constitution depicted. So as they are listed as a shopping list in the Constitution, it's not very common. But when you ask people, if you remove the Constitution and you ask them, what do values mean to you? Do you have values? Majority say yes, they have values. What kind of values? They believe in work hard, surprisingly, because of the challenges that we have. Work hard was a value that came out up top. Love your neighbor came out as a value that is up top. So then we discussed our issues of ethnicity, inclusion, etc., and the challenges we have. So there are things that resonate with people, and maybe those are the things we should be stimulating, the language that we should be stimulating when we talk about leadership. But what was also interesting for me was that 17% of the people we talked to said they have absolutely no value, good or bad. If
done by people who are well trained in the mind. But the Bakumi initiative is a concept of policing. Basic idea is policing. Do you know who is your neighbor? Do you know what your neighbor does? Do you trust the people who come to see your neighbor? And who spends time with your neighbor? Are you able to do that? Not, well, I know perhaps you can go to just espionage or spying, but are we able to know what we are calling the Nyari residences where conventional stays are regulated? They are called gated communities here in Kenya. Why do we gate communities? For simple reason, policing. And why do we even go ahead to employ security guards and get ourselves organized in a manner where amongst residents there is a committee that oversee matters? Not because we want to interfere with personal opinions and matters of the people, but we want to protect you as government. We want to protect ourselves as community leaders. We want to protect ourselves as people. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, police is not all that bad. I don't want to ask you, by the way, what is the place of force in the police service? Where do we, is force allowed in police? Is force allowed to be, are we allowed to use force in the police? Yes. They say reasonable force. Only a lawyer would understand that word. Reasonable force. Only a lawyer would be able to put that in context. It's called the doctrine of weapons value. The reasonableness doctrine. It is by sheer force that criminals are afraid of police. A good man, Aristotle would say, nothing can harm a good man in this life or in the next. Whoever is good will not fear policemen. And I will explain it better and say, I'm not here to defend police, I'm not a member of police. But I'm saying, like for me, let me say, I tell you where I fear the police. But for me, the sheer demonstration of guns and boots and rules, that's not scary. Where? Why would I be scared? Boots you scare who? But criminals, at the sight of police, they start shaking. Yeah. It's that easy. But there are policemen as much without ethics, and I'm happy the lady she stepped out working with ethics network. There are policemen who are there to do their own business. Criminals will stop you to check your car and declare it an robbery. Never mind, it was straight from road. Criminals who just want to scare the hell out of young boys growing in Eastlands and in the villages. I remember 15 years ago, I would run into my mother's hut anytime I would see a black marina. We call it black marina. Nothing, we feared nothing more than the sight of a Land Rover. Why? Because police represent force. If you are defining states as a political scientist, you know among many pillars and which state arrest police is one. Police is one of the most critical force that the state relies on to instill fear so that criminals can be afraid, and most importantly, to offer deterrence so that you are not harmed as a good member of society. This report, I hope it will go down to address, among other issues, the concept of base leadership, organized leadership amongst people without political interest, so that they can police themselves and police their neighbors and grow. This kind of politics you see here in Kenya. Sometimes I see people complaining, oh, our politics are bad. Yes, why are they bad? Because you are good and you have kept on it. Cosmetic solutions that disturb problems that disturb the people are offered cosmetically by politicians. And most of these people are thugs who can lie looking straight into your eye. And then these are the people who win the hearts of the poor in the streets. A good man cannot lie. You are afraid of your dignity. If you lie on things you can't deliver. But this valueless piece of human being running into crowds and exciting them with goodies, then they get the votes. But why? Because I have read people saying that the problem in this country, or rather in the world, he said, the problem in the world is that the few bad men are very organized, but the majority good are not organized. We are not organized. And I hope this report will be the model which can replicate in every other part of this country, so that people can now start organizing themselves. Do you know, by the way, it is very difficult to ask for votes in Langata, in Kiambu, and in Westlands. And in those areas I mentioned specifically, no politician has ever gone to ask for votes in Bukaina. Nobody can go and ask votes in Bunda and in Karen. Why? Because how do you even get to these people? They are organized, but they call the person they want to vote. They organize town halls and call them, tell us where you want us to be. We have, and they know their votes. In this estate, we have about 12,000 votes. Why do you want them? How many people, do you think the Soko can be in the plenary here to answer that question? No, in your own justified way of putting a thing. You think Waitito will stay here and listen to that question? Or rather, you listen. Do you think he can handle? Only perhaps the Guna would be able to sit here and answer that question, isn't it? But so to speak, if you are organized, ladies and gentlemen, as I finish, we will change societies from base. And we will topple the models that we don't like. Let's not always put complaints before solutions. I like what the panel is saying here. Solution-oriented leaders carries the day. Even this is for us men. Even women always fall for men who give them solutions, not suggestions. I think a woman hates an indecisive man. Am I speaking for ladies? Yes. Am I speaking for ladies? Okay, am I speaking for men? Well, I hear mixed feelings. but so to speak, even I as a man, I would want a solution giving woman. And that is our mothers. From wherever we are born in the villages, our mothers would always give nothing but solution. This is my contribution to your report as government official. 1,000 shillings. I don't know whether I have it. Yes. Let me do a demonstration. This is the newest note in Kenya. We have another one, old nostalgic. I don't remember for age. We'll never forgive these notes. Because it has replaced the nostalgic note. If you know it, the one we call it elephant, isn't it? This note, for us here, cannot do much. Visualize yourself. This 1,000 note cannot do much for you. Because perhaps you even buy a drink and lunch and it is gone. Actually not lunch, because this 1,000 cannot do a lunch here. But if you go down, the more south you go down, perhaps it will make sense. But here, this 1,000 cannot make sense. So the reason we continue to lose value-based leaders and continue to lose the masses and continue to de-inspire the masses there, for us who are in the middle class of life. Well, in Africa, we don't have things like middle class. That was Western, that was European model during industrialization. But if you understand what middle class means, this 1,000 shilling is what politicians will give to two people. And you know what? This 1,000 shilling, in the depth of Mukuru Kuarube, where there are contraband goods, will do a shopping for a man. I don't think you can go to a supermarket with this money. Because for you, what is it going to buy? What are you going to buy? Well, for ladies, for us men, 1,000 is nothing even inside the supermarket. What am I going to buy? 1,000. Maybe my wife can go and my wife all the time buys me goods. We agreed what I buy what you can buy. I will buy the world, the oceans, and the sky. She will maintain me on earth. Anyway, that's a joke. And for gender sensitive ladies here, they should not take me seriously. I'm just kidding. Am I allowed because of kids? Yes. So, and you know I can't buy the ocean. They are called what are they called, those books? Common for all, terra livres, isn't it? Or is it common dress? So, we lose those people because we don't relate with them. Right now in Crown Plaza, isn't it? The mention that you are in Crown Plaza alone will disgust them. Those people where Commissioner Tom was going to read. Disgust them. You are in big hotels. But those people, by the way, this is in public knowledge, and because I'm also in politics, I don't fear. This man you also is a darling to those people. And if you want to lose your teeth astronomically, go and say Sonko is an idiot. If you live there alive, you come to live, wherever I live. You know what he does? And you know the things he does? There is, he switches water in those areas, say Dandora or wherever, switches water for 2 days. Then the third day, he comes with a bowser of clean water and supplies every one of us 2 cans. Is he a hero? A man who has brought water to dry land? The first question is, was the land dry really? For you, you go and say, we will maintain pipes and increase water rationing in the city once we prepare the dam in Kiambu and in Muranga, so that water is sufficiently available, clean, drinkable. Then they say, we will move to a soup. They declare you a man of milliwards who cannot relate with them. But this man who brings water is giving water to tap that he made it dry. They will relate with him. And therefore, the Constitution of Kenya addressed a very fundamental software issues. We used to have Kenya Police Force, KPF. Today, it is called KPS. Kenya Police. That is fundamental shift of mind. Now, to put words and spirit into that will take time. It is no longer a force. And by the way, let's also be honest, these days police deal with us better than they used to. Not just the generic people. They did better. Even in those streets, they don't just shoot the way they used to. They keep shooting, but not as they used to. Let's also see it that way. They are our brothers, our sisters, and they are now getting to know these days you can just escape if you do crime. Before they used to say, we'll find an in, CCTV is recurrent, and you do nothing. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate the authors of this report, which brings to us a new way of doing things by organizing the groundsmen. You say, is that a groundsman? So this report is creating different things in the ground. And I hope that people will pick it up here in Nairobi and as you get out of Nairobi, so that they can mobilize themselves and become the power they are. Remember, people are sovereign. If they can tap half of their power through organization skills, they can manage the economy, they can manage their politics, they can manage their religion, and they can manage their value system, which they want to instill to their children. But if you are not managed, you'll be managed. If you are not self-managed, you'll be managed by other people. But these people coming to manage you will always have vested interest. I am privileged and honored today to stand here before you to launch this report, and hope it is going to reinvigorate in us the new spirit of having things done instead of saying how things should be done. All the policemen who are here, the academia, all the politicians, all the civil society people, and all the travelers of the world, those traveling is also a career, will benefit immensely by reading this report. So I don't know, Mondi, how you want me to proceed into launching this report. And I ask you as much, civil society, as you prepare, not to just be looking at government as a behemoth of destruction. It is very easy to demonize government if you are in civil society. Extremely easy. Because you can always see what the government hasn't done. Never easy to see what the government has done. I heard somebody here speak about BBI. I will not respond to you, but I will just say there are elements of ignorance lacing the speech you made about BBI. Because Building Bridges Initiative is a report in the public. Making any comment about a report you have not read is not just ignorance, but defeats your own dignity. Read the report. Women in leadership are enjoying today, rather than they used to do before. The president appointed 6 people this year, and I was the only gentleman. The rest were women. So women are winning every day in Kenya. Let's see what the government is also doing, and go into what the government is not doing. So if you allow me, if you are ready, I will just proceed through your guidance and launch the report. Maybe you can ask this table, she's Laura, and the other one. Can we also get a representative from academia to help us be inclusive, all inclusive? Joki has been proposed by the man with 9 lives. Yes, the man they wanted to. When I used to cut the hair of my younger brothers. All right. If we could stand all of us in honor of a report done by people who have decided to change things, Midrift. There's a gentleman I would want to give time. And all the dignitaries present, it is my wondrous honors and privilege to be able to launch this report today that brings to us new perspectives of organization to change the places we are coming from. And therefore, through the powers conferred to me by the Constitution of Kenya, as the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry, I officially declare this report launched. Thank you very much. This is nice. This report is very nice. Yes. Okay. Midrift team. Ladies and gentlemen, Midrift team. You capture everything. And you're also being captured from you're also being captured for capturing other people. You can't be free. Okay. Maybe yeah. Can you have somewhere there? All of us get
Hey, every one of us is moving there? Yes.
Use the stage.
Oh, the stage, yeah? I think the stage is smaller.
You should use, but then you have different heights.
All of us are moving. Oh, you're not moving with us?
So, ladies and gentlemen, lunch is served outside there. Just pick your lunch and then come and use the same tables for lunch. Just pick the lunch from the buffet outside, then come and sit down at the table and do your lunch.
Hello?